So, all right, everybody, how are you doing? It's just gone 9 o'clock. We are now live. I want to give a big shout out to everyone who is listening on the audio experience or anyone who is watching on YouTube as a replay and just come across this. By accident, I broadcast every Monday night at 9 p.m, every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. here in the UK. We do something called Motivation and Mind Hacks on a Monday, which is like a personal development session for about an hour, 9 till 10. Then on a Wednesday, which is tonight, we do a book club and we take a book either on personal development, something that's going to help you basically get further in your life and career faster, or something that's specifically tailored to actors, because obviously this community, actsonthis.tv, is, for actors. And tonight's a bit of both. We're looking at a book by an incredible author, ex-actress stroke personal development guru now, called Justina Vail. It's called, I was just saying on the pre-chat then when people were joining, that it's got a bit of a twee title. I think it's a bit of a tame title. It's called How to Be a Happy Actor in a Challenging Business. I think it doesn't do it great justice, to be honest, because the book's really good. It needs a better title. Don't know who came up with the title, but it's a bit like generic, innit? They could have done better with that. But the contents of the book is fantastic. Last week we looked at happiness in general, what it is for you, what it is for me, what it's different for everyone, isn't it? The definition of happiness and what makes you happy. So very different. It can't really be defined as just one thing. But we boiled it down to like three, to be more happy, like 3 steps you can take in your life. And they are to do one of the following. Okay, and basically, it's when things maybe aren't that great, you've got to accept it. When things are going well, you've got to enjoy it. Or if you can't enjoy it, at least you've got to accept what's going on. And if you can remember the third thing, and put it into your life full time and be enthusiastic about what's to come, then it's going to raise your base level of happiness effectively. Justina said in the book that everyone has a base level that they kind of sit at generally for their happiness, and scientific studies have gone into this to say if something terrible happens to you, your base rate will drop for a while, but it will naturally come back up to where it normally sits. Equally though, if something great happens to you, your base rate of happiness goes right up, but if you don't sustain that, it will drop back down to where it was. But basically, either accepting, enjoying, and being enthusiastic about life is going to help you remain as constant as possible. Warren's joined on Facebook. All right, Warren, he nips over here now. So that was the first part of the chapter. Tonight we're looking at happiness in your craft, basically, how you can implement it into your acting career. Had a really interesting chat last night with the casting director who I've got on actsonthis.tv tomorrow evening for a live broadcast. You really want to join us for this live broadcast, and in fact, I'll play you a little trailer that me and Nikki Bly is the casting director. She's a top comedy casting director, casts some great things, Mrs. Brown's Boys, she casts Ricky Gervais's Extras, Mount Pleasant, that a lot of people will have heard of on here from Sky. I actually recorded a little tech test with Nikki last night, and we were talking about the general state of being of actors in general, and we were saying how mental it is, but like so many are in this business and so freaking unhappy. I think I don't know. I mean, do you think it is just this business? Or do you just find, because I don't mix with, loads of different people on a daily basis, I guess. They're mostly from the creative industries. But do you find people in general, just at the moment, are more... I've never known a society, in general, that is more unhappy. And yet, the most abundant society we've ever lived in. We've got more than we've ever had as human beings. But I've never known so many people moan and whinge and whine and say how bad they've got it. Is that just me? And from what I see on social media, is that everyone else's experience as well? Do let me know, because I am fascinated to know what your experience of society is. But Nikki was saying that a lot of actors come into the room and it's almost torturous. They really want to be actors. But the journey to the success that they want, they're finding they're making themselves very, very unhappy. No, it's the home and external factors of the actor, says John. I mean, there is obviously a lot depending on what's going on in your life, but I just think in general in society, we've said this on loads of occasions, haven't we? I've never known the words like anxiety to be so prevalent in society. I don't know if it's just because people are talking about it now, and in previous years they never have, or whether it is something that with the birth of basically having... like I say, more than we've ever had, that, we end up with so many first world problems. I feel so sad because not 1,000 people have liked my video on Facebook, so I feel like a total failure. Total first world problem. That people end up getting so caught up and, I don't know, kind of down on themselves because they don't compare to some crazy social media ideal or something like that. Environment, says Suzanne. It is interesting, isn't it? But I do think we literally have more opportunity today than ever before. And everyone on here, no one on here can really complain about their opportunity because you're all obviously, at home right now or somewhere with a smartphone or with a computer, with internet access. That effectively gives you infinite opportunity to do what you want, to create a business. It's never been easy before, to put yourself out there, to promote yourself, to create videos, put them online and distribute them to the world. So no one's really got like mega excuses as in like, I am really struggling with the basics in life. And yet so many people really are unhappy, particularly in the acting industry. But to cut long story short, me and Nikki were talking about that as we recorded a trailer for basically, we're going to be doing a live broadcast tomorrow night, 7:30 over on actsonthis.tv. I'm going to play you a little trailer of that about what we're going to talk about. It's only like a minute long, but I'll see you in a second. It's going to look like I just morph into a black t-shirt now. Here we go, check this out. Hey everybody, it's Ross here from Act On This with a very special announcement. This Thursday evening, the 11th of January 2018, I'm going to be doing a 100% live and interactive casting Q&A with the incredible casting director, Nikki Bly. She joins me right now. Nikki, thanks so much for being here. And for the two people who don't know who you are and what you cast, what have you been up to recently?
Hi Ross, hi everybody. Recently I've been casting Living the Dream, which is a Sky One comedy drama series with Phil Glenister and Leslie Sharp. I've just finished an urban myths film about Mark Bolan and David Bowie with Jack Whitehall and Luke Treadaway, and which is for Sky Arts, and also a mini comedy pilot starring and written by Rufus Jones, which is really great. It's on the All 4 website, part of the Comedy Blaps at the moment.
Look at that, incredible stuff. Bit of name dropping there, but I love it. We're going to be live, like I say, 7:30 p.m. this Thursday, the 11th of January, answering your questions on acting, casting, auditioning, self-taping, how you can get more work, basically, in 2018, and hopefully be involved with some of those productions, or productions like those ones Nikki's just been talking about. To join us, all you've got to do is get a premium membership from actsonthis.tv. It's just £10 a month. It's a complete no-brainer. Revenue from premium memberships goes to charity, so you're not only helping yourself get further in your acting career, you're helping me support some awesome causes too. So, yeah, basically, be there. You're not going to want to miss it, are you, Nikki?
No, and I'm really looking forward to hearing what everybody has to say and what questions they have.
So come and ask your questions. It's going to be incredible. We will see you there. Bye for now. So there you go. That was Nikki. Awesome woman. Such an incredible casting director. Super, super supportive of actors. Very much always on the hunt for new talent, looking out for actors who have, brand new to the industry or, haven't had their first gig yet. Very, very supportive of basically putting new people in stuff, so that we were saying again last night that it doesn't do any favors to the world when a select group of people effectively run an industry. And that might be the case at the very top of the acting industry. But Nikki's very much up for doing her bit to kind of change that and put some brand new people into stuff and discover new talent. So if you want to join us on that, like I said there on that video, get yourself over to actsonthis.tv. You've got to have a premium membership. Premium membership is only £10 a month, or it's £90 for the year if you pay for an entire year up front. It'll give you access currently to 250 hours worth of interviews with the biggest casting directors, agents, writers, producers, and actors in the industry. And revenue from premium memberships goes to support charities. So you'll hear me tomorrow night talk to Nikki, and I don't know which charity she's going to choose. Choose a charity to support. We like to choose smaller charities because they're the ones who benefit, like have the most impact from the money that we can donate to them, as opposed to the huge ones. Although we do donate to the huge ones sometimes, but we're talking like local children's homes a lot of the time, theatre groups for disabled actors, young kids, that kind of stuff. So you're helping yourself get further in your career. But you're also helping me support some awesome causes as well. I'm just going to check everybody everything is good on here before we begin reading this book, and I'm going to just check Twitter on my iPad. And I'm going to be reading the book tonight off my iPad, off Kindle. I've not actually bought the paperback. I thought, why not? Why don't I just use the Kindle for once? It's all right. I quite like holding a book, though. I don't know what you guys prefer. Also, what have we got here? Let's have a look. What's this? What have we got here? Just reading some comments. So look, Alice Brockway, what we're saying here, says, I think that's naive. There are many reasons people can't manage things, even in the first world. You shouldn't undermine the real difficulties many people face, dismissing it as being miserable. But then you've written underneath that note, think loads of people are miserable in their lives. What do you mean by that? Let me have let me have more information. In terms of what I was saying there, I was saying this is, I don't think my comments there were I was being naive or undermining anybody. What I'm saying is that my experience right now of the acting industry in particular is that people are focusing on the struggle way more than they're focusing on the opportunity that they have at hand. And so many people just end up focusing on why it's so hard, why the cards are stacked against them, why other people seem to have opportunity that they don't, etc., etc., etc. Oh, it's only Hollywood is only ruled by the upper class, the aristocracy, the Eton boys, all this sort of stuff. Oh, it's so terrible. Someone posted in the Facebook group before that I run about a charity not wanting to pay decent money for an advert that they were doing because they expect other people to kind of work for lower wages because it's a charity. And in my eyes, I'm like, why is everyone just focusing? Like, I don't think this is naive. Why are people focusing on all of the struggle and like the one or the two things that are wrong in the industry or with their life, as opposed to focusing on the myriad of things that are incredible? And I'm not undermining anything. There was a bit of a viral post on Facebook today. I don't know if you guys saw it, that a woman who was 26, who had a really rare form of cancer, wrote before she died, and her family shared it today, just hours after this girl had died, and it's gone a bit viral today, all over Facebook and other social media. And she just says it as it is. You should read that letter. Go and find that letter on Facebook, people, and just read it, because people do focus on such dumb stuff when they do have such incredible opportunity. When people were born in the UK as a human being, you won the lottery. Or if you're born in any developed country, and yes, everybody faces struggles. I'm, facing my own struggles. Everyone here is facing struggles. I see Fanny on here facing struggles. Dawn's going to be facing struggles. John's going to be facing struggles. Suzanne. I mean, everybody. Warren is going to be facing struggles. Yet, you're going to resign yourself to a life of losing if you're just going to focus on that. And some people become addicted to the struggle, self-limit themselves so much that they're almost afraid to break through that glass ceiling and actually take control of their life and realize that life is happening for them, not to them. And that ultimately, no, you cannot control the situation that life throws at you. You can't. Sometimes you're thrown into some absolute shit situations, but you can absolutely every single time control how you respond to that situation and choose a better response. And last week on the book club, like I said, we looked at effectively, if you cannot do anything about that situation, then you accept that. And then you enjoy what you can, you look for the positives, and then you get enthusiastic that things will change and that things are going to get better. There's that diagram that I saw online earlier this week that I mentioned previously on the last broadcast that said, look, do you have a problem? Yes. Can you do anything about it? No. Then why worry about it? Do you have a problem? No. Then why worry about it? Do you have a problem? Yes. Then can you do something about it? Yes. Then why worry about it? So it's always about focusing on what you can do if you can't accept it. If you don't have a problem, enjoy it. So it's fascinating. But yeah, it would be interesting to just see what people's experiences of other actors in your circle. Misery likes misery, doesn't it? We've said this on many, many occasions as well, in terms of raising your standards and, not hanging out with other people who effectively you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And if those 5 people are generally down on the industry, bitter, jaded, twisted, unhappy, I don't know, and just not prepared to relabel things and actually look for the good in life, then the chances are you are going to be the 6th one of those people. If you hang out with 5 enthused, inspired, motivated actors who really want to make a difference in the world and in their careers and create their own work. Like I say, a friend of mine, last year was going, I'm getting nowhere, I'm getting pretty down, bit depressed, going to write a film. She wrote a short film, she funded it, filmed it, it's incredible, and is on the shortlist for an Oscar this year. That's someone who's never written anything before in their life. Could have had so many down feelings about herself, her ability, the struggle. Never done it. She decided she was going to write that film. Worked so hard, so incredibly hard, and now really deserves to be on the shortlist for an Oscar, the biggest accolade in the acting industry on the planet. That's somebody who who couldn't change the situation she was in, but responded to it in such a high quality way that she's absolutely killing it. Let's have a look. I was saying here, so Alison says, good, I mean, loads of people are miserable, but we have to be careful of saying that anyone can start a business at home. I truly believe you can, Alice. Honest to God, I've done it. Absolutely done it multiple times. And I'm not incredible. I was never incredible with web stuff, with design. I didn't know how to code a website. I didn't know how to even buy a domain name, what you would call your website. I didn't know graphic design. I just worked every single day for 8 years, created multiple businesses online, and that's what I do to this day. To the point where the t-shirt that I've got on now is a brand new clothing label that I've launched in the past 3 months. It's going to come out in middle of February. Had absolutely zero knowledge of the fashion industry, of clothing, of anything like that. Just research, hustle, hard work, and patience. I truly believe you can start any business you want at home, Alice. Honestly, I disagree massively with you on that, just because I've done it myself and so many of my friends have. There are many invisible problems. There are. Everyone's got issues, but if you are committed, you will find a way, Alice. If you're not, you'll find an excuse. I do a lot in mental health, and just because a problem seems small doesn't mean it's not hugely damaging. Of course it is. I'm not undermining anything at all. And I've done over the last 2 or 3 years, getting over 500 hours of these kind of broadcasts, all on positive psychology, science-backed positive psychology, personal development. I'm not just, winging off things that I don't know a bit about. Be positive. Don't assume that just because you can give an example of someone who did something doesn't mean that everyone else can be expected. Positive thinking is great, but not full. It's not positive thinking, Alice. It's belief in your potential and taking massive action that's congruent with that belief. It's not. It's like there's a few excuses there that I'm hearing. It is honestly, I just truly believe, because I know and I see it all the time in my own life, in people that I coach. All this, it's if you truly believe you can do something, you have self-awareness in terms of your natural kind of gifts. I can't go, right, I'm going to break the 4-minute mile, because I don't think I'm genetically athletic enough to do that, or I'm going to be a racing driver. I've got a genetic eye condition. I'm losing my eyesight. I can't drive, so I can't go, right, I'm going to be an F1 driver. But what I can do is I can be self-aware, look at actually, what I think is a stretch, is maybe uncomfortable but not delusional, and I can do one thing that everyone on here can do, and that is put in the hard work. That is the leveler for every single person on this broadcast right now, or anyone listening on the replay, or anybody listening to the audio experience who are catching this at a different time. You really can. The one thing that kind of you have complete control over is the work. 100%. You don't have control over your background, the money you were born with, your parents, anything like that, but you do have control over how much work you put into getting yourself out of a situation you might not want to be in. And I've seen that myself with members of my family. Firsthand, the benefits and the rewards of nothing but laser focus and hard work, even when times are really, really shit. So I do believe if you are committed, you will find a way. And I believe if you're not committed wholeheartedly, you will find an excuse of why it is not practical for you to do that thing right now. Why you'll allow fear to dress itself up as practicality and go, oh, well, that wouldn't work for me, or I have this problem or that problem, or that's my friend did that and it didn't work for them, so therefore I'm going to have the limited belief that it won't work for me either. It's fascinating. This is why mindset is absolutely key to everything in life. And if you allow fear to rule you, you will find that it does dress itself up as that practicality, and why you'll say so many times that it is not the right time for me to do this thing. And there's never a right time. So by default, it's always the right time. Good evening, James on Facebook. Good evening, Chris Edge. Not seen you for a while, mate. Thanks for being here on Facebook. Richard Haler as well. Just got in. He's in Miami. Thank you for being here, Rich. John says, I was always obsessed with being just like Mickey Slim. Why don't I know that character, who that is, without seeing the opportunities right in front of me that I actually could do? Seriously, man, there are certain things where, you would say, oh, well, that might be delusional thinking that, I can't go, right, I'm going to open a business and become a billionaire overnight. That's delusional. But you know what? Could I open up a business and become a billionaire in the next 30 years? Potentially, yeah, absolutely. If I put the work in, why not? Why not believe that potential is there and then take the action that's congruent with it? I love this. We've gone way onto a digress. I hope that's not kind of annoyed people that we've digressed a little bit there. I'm going to open the book for tonight. We're going to read a little bit about happiness and the craft. Apologies for that. I just get a bit passionate sometimes. I'm like, everything I say, I'm never, ever undermining anyone's situation, people know me and know my story. I'm, not in a fantastic situation, in my own life. I'm facing the reality of being blind in, I don't know, 15, 20 years time. My mum has no vision with this eye condition that we've got. I lost my dad when I was 24. Things aren't amazing in terms of the situation and the cards that I've been dealt, but I'm truly so incredibly bloody grateful for my life and what I do have. I mean, I could not be happier with the opportunity that I have at my fingertips, because it's literally infinite. And we can all make some excuses about how we're not happy about something and how life has dealt us shit, and we can't help that. I can't help the genetics I've been born with. There's no medical cure on the planet for this eye condition that I've got. But what I can do is I can go, well, how can I relabel this, what people would think is a tragedy, into a gift, and go, well, you know what? If every single day I focus on using the eyesight that I have to see only the good in people, the best that there is out there in the world, beautiful things, as opposed to focusing on the negative and the pessimism and the bullshit that's in the news and, nuclear war and this and that. It's not like burying my head in the sand. It's just like, I'm being practical. At what point does that serve me any good whatsoever? I have to use the time that I have and use this condition that I have to motivate myself to get up every single day, make a positive impact in the world, and just show up and be a force for good. Thought I had a bad audition yesterday, then got a recall. Hard not to let things affect the mood. There you go, Warren. See, so you were focusing on probably the one thing you did wrong in the audition or something to make you feel you had a bad audition, and then you smashed it anyway and you got a recall, man. If we just focus on the things that we can control and let go of the things that we can't, you're going to be much happier, man. And that just goes for everybody. Accept what you can't control, focus on what you can, and work hard to make things better. So happiness and the craft, right? We've gone on a little bit here. Apologies for that. It's like 25 minutes. This is really relevant to what we've just been talking about, though. Okay, so Julia says, look, remembering that pain is inevitable, and it's an inevitable part of life. It's important, okay, to be aware that a sustained foundation of happiness is not going to be mutually exclusive of grief. Everyone's got their stuff, haven't they? I call it like their bag of shit. Everyone's got their bag of shit they carry around with them. So yeah, a life of happiness is not going to be mutually exclusive of grief, anger, and sadness. Genius is often born in our darkest realms, and artists of all kinds have created some of the world's greatest works of art, poetry, film, and music through the source of human pain. Anyone who's been through a breakup, man, surely, who else here, right? This has happened to me. You go through like a heart-wrenching breakup in your life of a relationship that you lose, and then you hear a song, and it's almost like it could be written for you. It's like someone's dived into your head. He's looking out through your eyes at the world, and it's like, oh my God, this song was like written for me. This guy or girl who sang this song read my mind. It means they've obviously been in that dark place that you've been in as well. And that in a way is kind of nice. She's like, well, actually, people do kind of do understand me. But some of the best songs I've ever heard have been born from that place. So people do create incredible stuff when they're at their in their darkest hour. She says long-term happiness has to include sadness and anger. Okay, they are healthy and important emotions that are a fundamental part of being human. And as an actor, having a full range of them is part of a well-rounded craft. You'll need to be able to access a full spectrum of feelings and emotional experiences in order to be a multifaceted vehicle for your work. The question as a human being is more about where you tend to reside most of the time. No day without night, says Fanny. I agree, definitely. If you habitually live in anger, sadness and fear, there's not much room for you to flourish. Artists often think they need to suffer for their art. That's what I was talking about before. I didn't want my comments to be misconstrued there. That's what I'm talking about. It's almost like actors feel they have to struggle. It's like, I have to suffer for my art, and this should be a struggle. And they get so addicted to that struggle. It's like they self-limit themselves to ever getting out of it. And when they start getting out of it, it's like they go, oh, wait a minute, this doesn't feel right. I'm going to sink right back down and complain about stuff. It says there's no reason, let's have a look, they need to suffer for their art, yet there is no reason to do that in order to be great. You're entirely capable of creating great art through just the fact that you're human and have experienced the tragedies of life as well as the thrills. And in fact, the very nature of the business you're in will keep you on your toes. Of course it does. I think my inner pain helps my acting, says Rebecca. I completely agree with you. Honestly, there's experiences I've had that have been very sad, losing a parent, bad breakups, relationships. Like I said, this thing with my eyes, that sort of stuff, that I absolutely can bring to my work. And I would not have known how to play those things authentically had I not experienced them. If someone came to me in an audition, said, right, in this audition, this person's going to tell you that your dad's just died. Before someone actually did that in my life, I wouldn't have had a clue how I was going to react. And I'd have done the thing that I saw at drama school happen a lot, where people went for the really obvious choice of throwing themselves on the floor and like breaking down into, like a hysterics. And some people might react like that. That might be real. For me, it was like it was utter shock. No tears. It was like someone had punched me in the stomach as hard as they possibly could, and I couldn't breathe. And I would recreate something like that in an audition, knowing that that's how I reacted. It might not be how everybody reacts, but I know that would be at least an authentic option. Without having that experience, obviously I wouldn't be able to play that. We all wish we didn't have those bad experiences, but you might as well use them if you're going to have them. So she says, award-winning casting director Reza Bramon Garcia. She's American, not for us English guys, but she's in Hollywood. This person says she works with actors in many different capacities. Not only is she one of Hollywood's top casting directors, she also runs acting workshops, directs, and produces. She's been involved in the business for over 30 years and has a passionate interest in the nature of human unfolding. Reza described her thoughts with me about actors and emotional health. I've seen amazing performances by actors who are deeply messed up, but that doesn't last forever. There's an actor who comes out of the Mickey Rourke journey of years of insanity, the actor who does that one definitive part because he can access all of the pain and wounds. But ultimately, people can't keep creating if they're in a bad place. You can't honour yourself as an artist if you don't know what that is for yourself. You don't know who you are. So I ask you, when you're old or in your last days on earth and you look back at your life, is it all going to be about those anguished moments that you've had, those few moments as an actor? Or is it going to be about your life as a whole and who you've been that you will look back on? By nurturing your happiness in the middle of all that stuff life brings you, your craft can remain full of all of your humanity, and you can also live a life that's deeply fulfilling. It's entirely possible to be a great actor and a happy actor, and you owe it to yourself to be both. Give me some hearts on Periscope if you agree with that. Because it's good to be able to tap into those emotions that are bad, but ultimately you don't want to walk around in that state, do you? I mean, that would be shit. I don't want to walk around all day, every day, reminding myself of what's not right in my life. It's really interesting. We're going to look at this part of the chapter is called Becoming Good at It, effectively becoming good at being a happy actor, all right? I'm not, my last audition or my last role. Oh, I've missed the first part of that comment, Rebecca. Acting has helped me process and assimilate the ups and downs of life. Forever grateful for acting. Says, who's that? Jay Irving. Who's that? Give us your first name. I'm sure I recognise your avatar on Twitter there. If I do know you, apologies. My eyes aren't great, so I can't quite see the tiny little avatars on my phone here. But it's an interesting question here. It says, right, if you think of your happiness levels in terms of an overall base state and rate it on a scale from Peter. All right, Peter. I do know you, mate. Apologies for that. If you rate it on a scale of from 0 to 10, okay, 0 being not happy at all, and 10 being the most happy you can imagine, what number would you come up with? Let's ask everybody. This book, Caroline, is called How to Be a Happy Actor in a Challenging Business by Julia. Oh my god, I've forgotten. What's the second name of the author? My mind's completely gone blank. But I've got it on Twitter here. 1 second. Justina Vail, that's it, not Julia. What am I talking about? How to be a happy actor in a challenging business. Sounds like I need this book too, says Rebecca. 7.5 for Warren. Warren, that's good, man. That's a good state. If that's your base state, man, that's good. It's a great place to operate from. Mary's here as well, Mary Fogg. Mary, we're talking about your general state of being on a 1 to 10 basis. Give us a mark between 1 to 10 of where you're at. 6 for Dawn. What's better than 5, Dawn? So that's more happy than sad. So that's all right. What's your base state? I'm not sure I know. So what, are you asking me what mine is, Fanny, or do you mean do you want to know what we mean again by it? 8 for Peter, 6 for Rebecca. I'd say I probably operated at I don't know, I practice gratitude a lot, and I'm generally do wake up just incredibly freaking grateful to be here, And I don't want to sound all twee and like, oh, life's great, because I do get dealt shit and I do have days where I feel down. Definitely do, because I'm just a human being. Feel I have a lot of strategies to deal with that stuff because of the nature of my work and what I do. But I'd probably be sitting, I reckon I'm like a solid 8.5, you know. Fanny, you say you don't know what yours is. Have a think. Mary says it fluctuates daily. So we're looking at a kind of average, Mary, basically, where you, because what this is saying, the studies have been done to say that basically where people sit most of the time is where they always come back to. Now, that's where you're going to bounce back to if you have a shit time and you're dealt like a heavy blow. It's not going to last forever, so you don't need to really worry in the long term. You're going to come back to that base state. Equally, if you have even a lottery win, they've done this on lottery winners, even like a huge positive life-changing event, really, if your base state is low, is only going to last 9 months, you're going to gradually come back down to that base state around about 9 months' time. So if you're having the worst time of your life, it's probably going to last around about 9 months, so you're going to come back. The happiest time of your life, if your base state is low, then it's going to last about 9 months and you're going to become less happy, effectively. If your base state is high, by working on yourself, your mindset, and your personal development overall, I guess, then it means that, say you go from an 8.5 to a 10, you're not going to live at a 10 for the rest of your life. You might live at a 10 for 9 months, but then you're going to drop that down to an 8.5. Not a huge drop. If your base state is a 3, and you have an incredible time for 9 months where you're at a 10, you're going to drop right back down to a 3, and you're going to be just as unhappy as you were before that great thing happened to you. So it's interesting to see where people feel they are most of the time. Let's have a look. But Justina says here, like, where was it up to? If you then ask yourself what number you would rather be at, what would you then arrive at? Would you choose a 7, 8, or dare go to a 10? I'm here to tell you, in the business you are in, being generally happy and fulfilled is not only something you deserve, it's absolutely essential to your success as an actor. Happy people tend to be healthier, wealthier, more creative, and more successful in their careers. And these things, in turn, are some of the elements that can increase happiness. Okay, in other words, consciously raising your baseline state of happiness is going to give you a better chance of creating what you want in your life, your career, and your relationships. You get to live in a positive cycle of increasing happiness and fulfillment in life. I'd rather be an 8. Higher might lose my motivation. Interesting, Rebecca. Yep, so a 7 would be like, so you're a 7, Mary, you'd like to be a constant 8 or 9. Awesome. I'd say I'm a positive more than I'm happy. Does that figure? Yeah, I mean, well, it's better than being negative and not being happy, Fanny, definitely. What I find you doing, Fanny, here's just something I want to say now while it's in my head. You posted in the Bulletproof Actor group 2 videos of you singing, and they're both very good songs. You prefaced both of them, and you've got to stop doing this. You have to stop doing this. You preface all of your posts on social media with, this is going to be shit, this is really shit, this is really hard, I'm terrible, I'm shit, but have a watch and let me know if you like it. And you've got to stop doing that. One, if people don't know you, they might think that you're just fishing for, oh, no, you're not, Fanny, you're amazing. And I don't think you're doing that. I think genuinely, you're putting stuff out. I don't know why you're afraid. You've been putting stuff out for so long on social. I'd love to see you put a post out where you just put it out. You just go, guys, I've had a load of fun doing this. Check it out. Just do that. Don't put a disclaimer out about how shit it's going to be, because some people might not even listen to it because they go, oh, is she saying it's shit? It is shit then. I think you're doing yourself out of views. You're doing yourself out of comments, compliments, and maybe happiness in your own life. That goes to everybody. Don't put a disclaimer out. Be proud of everything you're putting out on social media. If you're proud to put it out, if you've created something from scratch, you've been creative, and you're putting it out into the world, and you're throwing your hat into the arena, please just be proud of that. Don't worry about what Actorboy697 on Twitter is going to think of you. No one gives a shit. Ultimately, all these people, all these trolls, are walking around in life like they're coming back, and they're not. None of us here are coming back. We're gone. We die. It's it. I'd like to think we go on to a better place. Fingers crossed we do. I'm very spiritual. But we ain't coming back to Earth as ourselves, are we? Let's be honest. So please don't, stop yourself from putting things out. Or people might think you're up yourself if you don't do yourself down first. No. But it's totally wrong. People will think you're craving attention if you put yourself down first. They will like you more for just not bigging yourself up and saying I'm the best, but just going, hey guys, you might find this cool. I really enjoyed doing this. I hope you like it. Done. Just put that out. Don't by being confident. It's genuine confidence and not arrogance is attractive. just be confident, or just put things out and just go, here you go, just, I'm prolific, you put a lot of content out. Don't apologize for it all the time. So I hope you do that, definitely. Back to this, right? So people have now know where they're at, and they know kind of where they want to be, and we know that if you really do want to have success in this industry, you've got to become ultimately as fulfilled and as happy as you can. And that's hard sometimes when you're not working, but you've just got to, like I say, accept, enjoy and get enthusiastic about stuff. So Justina says, not only that, the fact is happiness is contagious, and this is why I think I do quite well in the audition room. Happiness is contagious, and the people in charge of hiring actors for film, theatre and television want to feel good just like anyone else. They want to be around people who inspire them, move them and make them laugh. And no matter what character you're playing in what type of story, if you're essentially a happy person, you will inspire others because you'll be able to bring your best self to the table personally and professionally. I'm going to read that again because I think it's the most important thing I think I've probably ever read in a book club. Basically, they want to be around people who inspire them, move them, and make them laugh. And no matter what character you're playing in what type of story, if you're essentially a happy person, you will inspire others because you'll be able to bring your best self to the table, personally and professionally. Like attracts like. Negative people in the room will find each other, same as positive people, says Rebecca. I agree with you, Rebecca, definitely. So I was saying before, misery likes company. And you really will become, the byproduct of those 5 closest people you spend the most time with. Super, super true. Being happy means you'll be able to handle the success that then comes along with maturity and emotional intelligence. And that's what makes many actors real stars. Though it's the dysfunctional, unhappy celebrities who tend to get the most press, there are a significant number of successful actors who are grounded, stable, and fulfilled. Take Tom Hanks, for example. Give me some hearts if you love Tom Hanks. What a bloody great guy Tom Hanks is. The amount of stuff I've seen him do on social media for other people, like where you didn't think he was even getting any press, turning up at people's weddings, just being nice, and being a kind person, doing the right thing. I like Tom Hanks. And he didn't get nominated for they got snubbed at the BAFTAs, didn't they, for him and Meryl Streep. What did they do? The Post, is that what it's called, the film? Got very, very good reviews. Didn't get a nomination. I loved him in Big, says Caroline. Everyone loves Tom Hanks in Big. But yeah, it says here, Tom Hanks, for example, he comes across to me as someone who is a fairly happy person. Anne Hathaway and Hugh Jackman come to mind as well. Will and Jada Pinkett Smith also seem to be consciously creating healthy, happy lives for themselves and their children. And that beautiful, radiant being, Goldie Hawn, has dedicated much of her life to the study, practice and teaching of happiness. Through the Hawn Foundation, Goldie has taken much of the research and with her team of experts improved the lives of others by putting it all into practice. All of the actors mentioned appear to be not only highly skilled and professional, but also generally healthy and happy in their lives. Certainly, life has its ups and downs for everybody. Remember, no one is always in a state of bliss, and there are actors who have career success despite the fact that they're not happy, and having generally healthy relationships, a stable home, and a good, strong emotional life makes the whole journey that much more fulfilling. So what can you do about this? Because it's dead easy to go, just be happier. Like we said before, we're saying to Alice, obviously everyone's dealt their shit. So you can't just go, come on, dickhead, just be happy then. It's hard. So what can we do about it? It turns out that happiness is something that you can become good at, all right? And scientists at the University of California, Berkeley, believe that 50% of our happiness is genetic, 10% is circumstantial, but a huge 40% is in our hands to cultivate at will. That's really happy news for everyone. It says we are in fact capable of controlling the quality of our lives far more than we may have been led to believe in the past. And that's what I want to focus on. It's that 40%, it's ultimately 50% because it's 40% that you have complete control of cultivating naturally, 10% is circumstantial. Now you can say, right, I'm not in a great circumstance right now, but you can use that 40% to switch that 10% around. Right, and that's 50%. That means half of the time you can cultivate effectively your own happiness. Now, the other 50% that's genetic, I don't think any human being has been dealt a zero. I just don't think that's the case. I think you know, even at its worst, you might go, well, you know what? I've only been dealt 10%, you know, genetic happiness in terms of the makeup and the chemicals and the levels of the chemicals and serotonin and dopamine and oxytocin and epinephrine and you know, all the chemicals that make our brains, you know, the state that they are in. Even if you're only dealt a 10, right? So 40% of your brain is against you. That's still 60% of your happiness that you can control. People says people who are depressed are capable of strong emotions, are just choosing the wrong ones, okay, or the wrong way. We are born innately happy. We are wired that way. We're born, yeah. I mean, we're born to. Well, I think we're kind of born in a slightly neutral state, but we are born definitely with something called negativity bias. Which doesn't mean we're negative, like naturally. It does mean that we're very aware of what can hurt us. So you do have to be careful of that, because that's just a survival mechanism. That means, you know, back in the day when we were literally prey for animals, you had to be very aware of what was going on. So you do have a negativity bias where you will slide towards a negative for survival. Be like, oh, do I go out there now whilst there's a lion, or do I stay here? Probably going to stay here, because that negativity bias is going to keep me there to, you know, because the chances are, you know, we don't want to get hurt. So you do have that that's going to help you look after yourself. But I don't think like we're born innately bad people or innately unhappy. Definitely environmental things kick in. Our parents have a huge role to play as kids. But I do truly believe in that 40% that you can cultivate, you can focus on, and you can use mindset and positive psychology principles to turn a bad situation around at least halfway. So we're going to look a little bit now. I know it's 1:45. We've only got like 10 minutes or so left. We're going to dive into a part of the book called The Keys to Happiness. I'm going to read a little bit of this. That's a philosophical argument about being born evil. Yeah, interesting, isn't it? It's a tough one. I am very optimistic. I believe that positivity and optimism is everything. And I am very optimistic that I don't think any child on this planet is born innately evil. I know there's been a lot of talk about kids at a very young age who have done very bad things. There's a whole Jamie Bulger case here in the UK many years ago, and that's kind of being brought up at the forefront again right now, because one of those kids responsible is in trouble again. But I still don't want to believe that they were born terrible people. I think at that age, it's your parents, isn't it? It has to be your parents, your teachers, and your peers. Just must be. Fanny says, I totally agree with you. I don't want to believe anybody is born evil. And that's, again, something I'm incredibly grateful for. I believe that everything that I've achieved is really just owe it to my mum and dad. I mean, like, seriously. Like, I know I've been, you know, absolutely been dealt a lot of privilege in my life. You know, very working class, you know, family aren't rich or anything like that. But in terms of the abundance of love that was around me as a kid and support growing up, couldn't have any more than that. And I think if you're a kid who hasn't got that, then you've got way more chance of, obviously, you know, doing bad in the world, surely. So the keys to happiness, what are the intentional activities that raise our baseline state of happiness and increase the good in our lives? I was born naughty, says Rebecca. There you go. As long as you know you're not evil, Rebecca, just a little bit naughty. What are these things that can raise our happiness? I'm just going to go onto Twitter. Alice, you tweeted me. What you can do, Alice, I don't know if for next time. It's good having you on these, because you're being very vocal, and I've missed a few of your tweets. If you actually click into the video, you will see a little comments bar on the bottom, and you can actually comment, and it'll come up in the. I can see myself on it. It'll actually come up on the broadcast as opposed to as tweets. Or you can download the Periscope app and follow @Act on This TV, and you can join that way as well. So then everybody else can see your comments as well. But let me read what you've been writing on Twitter here for a sec. See what we've got. Says not wanting to continue this now because I could debate for hours. Would love to sit with a pint and talk about this. Really interesting. Thanks for your work. Passion is brilliant. Anytime. Well, we do meetups, Alice, every first Saturday of every month in London and Manchester. So you should get yourself down to one. Definitely look in the Facebook group and Acts on This. Never start with an apology. So that's about your comments, Fanny. Never start with an apology. As my old tutor said, it might be shit, but it's my shit, and I'm gonna show you. Definitely don't apologise, Fanny, on those posts. The guy who's back now on trial was basically tortured as a young child, not born evil, treated horrifically. Yeah, I believe, like, you know, you can't. I don't think any child is born to do the things that those kids do. But yeah, Alice, if you click into the video, I don't know if you can do it on Twitter now, depending on what you're watching on. But you will be able to comment, and everyone will be able to see what your comments are as well. But let's just finish 5 minutes on the keys to some of these things that we can consciously do to raise our baseline state of happiness effectively. So for a start, research in both traditional and new psychology says that positive thinking and optimism have been proven to change people's lives for the better in profound ways, as do healthy relationships, strong spiritual beliefs, good role models, forgiveness, and meditation, among others. The elements that stand out in all research on happiness is the importance of successful relationships, ones that are mutually respectful of the other person's needs, desires, and feelings in speech, action, and intention, and learning to be more loving and a more loving person, and learning to have better clarity around your own needs and boundaries with others. This is all relationships as well, not just like your husband or your wife or anything like that. So yeah, having more clarity around your own needs and boundaries with others is a big key, as is gathering a tribe around you who fits who you want to be and how you would like your vision to unfold. The relationship that determines how all your other relationships will be is first and foremost the one you have with yourself. It's ridiculously important. Developing a friendly, healthy relationship with yourself is a big step toward creating a healthy life. In order to have good self-esteem, you have to move towards greater self-awareness to know who you are. You also have to make peace with yourself and know how to resolve the inner conflict that you have. Another very important factor is building a happy foundation for yourself. In building a happy foundation for yourself is a trust in something bigger than you. From the beginning of time, humans have grappled with the idea of faith and whether to believe there is something infinitely powerful in the universe. Scientists recently described this something as a single quantum energy field that functions in intelligent, predictable ways to make up the universe. They call it the unified field, and religious and spiritual words for it are God, Providence, Allah, Spirit, Nirvana, and Great Soul, as well as many others. So ultimately, we said this before, innit? It's having a faith in something bigger than you. And I'm really spiritual. I'm not religious in terms of go to church or anything like that. I have absolutely nothing against religion whatsoever. I believe everyone should practice what they want to practice. Just don't hurt anybody else because they believe something different. But that is something that, might sound bizarre, but I talk to my dad more now he's dead than he was when he was alive. I mean, seriously, on my walk down to the gym every morning, I'll have always a full-blown conversation with my old man. Sometimes before I go to sleep. Sometimes I have a picture of him downstairs, and when I go downstairs to put my trainers on in the morning before I go to the gym, every single morning, right, I get my trainers out from underneath this chair, and I'm sat on the chair, and I look up at this picture, and I just have a little word. And I genuinely take comfort and solace in the fact that I'm like, you know what, when shit's hit the fan and things aren't going well, it's all right, you know what, my dad will sort this out. He'll sort this out. And that's just a belief in something bigger than myself. You know, my old man was bigger than me, but just something that's kind of spiritual. It's nice, isn't it? And that's why I completely understand why people have a real divine faith in religion, if that's what they want to relate to. Because everyone is but a soul, and the soul is immortal. Hence, you still connecting with him. Says Fanny. I do that too. Says Caroline. It's weird, isn't it? Didn't speak to him that much when he was alive. I mean, I did live with him. He died when I was 24, so I lived with him my entire life. But yeah, it's funny how I probably speak to him more now than I did when he was here. But yeah, so that's something that you can buy into in whatever suits you. Some people do just go, it's the universe. I'm going to put this out to the universe or whatever. I still believe hard work is absolutely critical. You can't just order things cosmically and expect them to turn up, but you can tap into your reticular activating system in your brain, scientifically a part of your brain, that when you focus on what you are putting out into the universe, you will see more opportunities to get it because you're tuned into it. That's just a fact. So let's have a look. It's a universal superconscious mind. And it's believed that we are all part of the one mind. It's been found by researchers in both science and spirituality that having strong faith in the benevolence of this infinite energy field is a very significant element in how happy we will be in life. Gary says meditation definitely works for him as well. John's asking about the meetups in London. They're at Festival Hall on South Bank on a Saturday, the first Saturday of each month. Melanie Radloff from the Facebook group runs the London ones. John and I run the Manchester ones at Home Theatre in Manchester. Last little bit we're going to read, and then we're going to carry this on next week, because this is interesting, isn't it? All right. We connect with this unified field through many channels: prayer, meditation, art, dance, song, and relationships are just some of these possible channels. Research shows that meditation, for example, is a faceted source of happiness. It trains our minds to become more present with the truth of life as it is now, putting it into a relaxed and positive perspective. The idea is that the present moment is the only thing that's ultimately real. The past is gone and the future is yet to materialize. The present moment is where we can find a deep peace and trust. And teaching our minds to live in that state more often throughout daily practice is known to increase our happy factor in dramatic ways. Our habitual beliefs, thoughts, and language will also determine what life is like for us, no matter what our circumstances. And training our brains to be more resourceful and to focus on the things that serve us and our joy, what I was talking about at the start of this, contributes greatly to our success in life. And in addition to that, it appears to be vitally important to have a clear, strong sense of purpose and mission. That comes out of an awareness of what's deeply important to us and our core values. And then it goes on to some other stuff in a bit more depth. So I'm going to continue this next week. But ultimately, there's like 3 or 4 things there that you can really kind of crack on with for the next week until we get into the next book club. And ultimately, that's, like I said before, relationships are key in terms of the people you're surrounding yourself with. And I don't mean your personal relationship or the relationships you have necessarily with your family and that. But if you don't have people around you that are truly inspiring and motivating and you know, have the same mission in life and want to achieve greatness and want to impact the world positively and focus on what's right with the world and ultimately make positivity louder. Because Christ, I mean, sorry, we're talking about religion, shouldn't blaspheme there. But, you know, crikey, there's enough people in this world making negativity loud, like really, really loud. And the one thing that we can all do for mankind, the acting industry, yourself, your life, your loved ones, is try and make positivity louder and drown out all of the negativity, because there's way more positivity in the world than negativity. Like I said at the start of this, we have never lived in a more abundant society. Yes, there are issues in society. Yes, there are food banks. There is poverty. There's stuff that shouldn't be happening. But on a whole, and I'm talking like on a whole, society has never been more abundant. There's never been as much opportunity. Things would be worse and things would be a lot harder, wouldn't they, if the Black Death was still knocking around? You know, let's just be honest. Things would be harder and a lot worse if we were still in World War II and we were being bombed on a daily basis. You know, you've got to look at all of the things that are right with the world, because there's a lot, you know, regardless of whether Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un are talking about nuclear war on Twitter. Hopefully it's just silly little words on Twitter and it will never actually, amount to anything. But we must try and make positivity louder. And you can do that by forming relationships with people who want to do that as well. And then as a collective and a mastermind, you can make way more impact together. So that's number one. Second thing is developing that faith in that unified field, you know, that energy source, whatever it is for you, whether that's religion or not, or spirituality, or just a belief that, you know what, in everything that's out there in the universe and the universes within universes, there's got to be something else out there, aren't there? Surely, and I'm so practical, but from just a practical perspective, there's got to be something else out there to believe in. There just has to be. So that's that's something that's big as well. And then what else were they saying there as well? Ultimately, yeah, I mean, it's just about focusing on what's going to serve you and letting go of all the shit that's not going to serve you. We're getting a few of these sex bots on Periscope again. Don't worry about that. It's nothing filthy. They're just these like robotic kind of like fake accounts that like try and message you things while you're doing a broadcast. Ignore them, Fanny. It's fine. But yeah, tapping into that RAS inside your head, your reticular activating system. Do a Google on it if you want to read up a bit more about it. And And this is effectively your filter for life. So what you are focusing on, ultimately you're going to get more of, because your RAS is going to tune into that thing. So what's going on where you are right now, there might be a lot of distractions. Maybe you're watching this on your phone in a coffee shop, or you're listening to this as a podcast whilst you're running and you're looking out for cars and all kinds of things. The reason you're able to listen to me and understand me, or watch me now if you're watching live or you're on YouTube, and filter out all of these distractions, is your focus, and your RAS is kicking in and helping you to focus on me. Listen to this ultimately noise coming out of my mouth, and somehow we're so incredible you can decode it as words and understanding. This happens in life as well. So if you are focusing on what you want in your life, your RAS will tune into that. For instance, if you want a particular make of car and you're thinking of buying a car, I don't drive, but a lot of people have said this to me. If they've been thinking of buying a certain brand of car, a BMW or a Mini or something like that, suddenly the next day they see loads of those on the road. And it's not because they've manifested them or the world has gone, the universe has dealt them Minis and BMWs to look at. Women might do this when they're thinking of babies and they're getting broody. They tell me that a lot as well. It's happened to me when I used to go out and I'd buy a t-shirt to go out to a nightclub in back in the day when I used to go out. I'd go into that nightclub, I'd see the one other person in that club with my t-shirt on. I didn't manifest him. It's because I was tuned into it. So what you focus on, you see more opportunities to get. The problem is with most actors and most people in life is they focus on everything they don't want. They ask themselves very negative questions, very disempowering things, when will I ever be good enough? What's wrong with me? All this shit, as opposed to, what action can I take today to get closer to my goal? How can I make one person smile today? How can I impact the world positively today? Focusing on what you want, seriously, you just means you get more of it. So that's the other thing that we can all focus on doing for next week. And then we're going to look at these other ways as well. I think this book's pretty good. What do you reckon? Enjoying it? That's happening for me right now with Mini Coopers, says Caroline. That's how it works. This is the science behind it, though. At least you understand why it's working now. Rich says, love this, Ross. Excellent. He's going to be back for the Nikki Bly Q&A tomorrow. Nice one, Rich. Yeah, 7:30pm at onthis.tv. I'll send you an email about that. Are the t-shirts for women with Master and Monocle, says Rebecca. These t-shirts you see here, this is the first one. So they're male initially. They're kind of unisex, I guess, these, they're not like cut for females in terms of, a lot of female t-shirts we looked at have like more V-necks than round necks and stuff. But we will, if the demand's there, Rebecca, we will start doing stuff for women as well. It was something we never really, had in mind to begin with. But a lot of women have asked me for, when will you be doing women's stuff? So maybe we just might do that. Thank you, Dawn. But yeah, this is one of the first. I'll move the microphone out of the way. You won't be with me for a minute, but boom. These are the one of the first Master Monocle t-shirts on the market. We sold the first one yesterday. Heather Walker decided she was going to buy a black one for her son for his birthday. Hopefully he's not watching this. I think his birthday's tomorrow, so it's fine. But yeah, they're going to be available very shortly when I've done I've sorted the website out for them. I've got a box of them over here. The standard colours initially are white, grey, black, and red. And then this was one we were just testing out, this blue one, but I quite like it. So I'll probably end up stocking this one as well. A little bit off piece there, but yeah, let's just focus on ultimately just trying to raise that base state. If you're at a 6, just let's not try and get it to a 10 straight away. That might be a bit impossible. But at least go, right, you know what? For the next week, I'm going to really focus on just one of those things, for instance. I'm going to focus on relationships. I'm going to seek out some more people or some more groups that I can join to just inspire me and motivate me. And that's going to raise my base level to a 7. And then, when you've got that down, focus on maybe, connecting with something that's bigger than yourself. Let's get it up to an 8. And if you can live at an 8 or an 8.5 most of the time, I think you're going to see disproportionately greater success in your life. It's going to have more of an impact than you probably ever imagine. If you just focus on that. And I know it seems like, well, it seems obvious, and B, it seems almost, very difficult to do that, because it's like, well, how do you just be happier? You've got to make a conscious decision to do it. And then when you walk into these rooms for castings and you're doing auditions, you're just going to leave those people in the room better than you found them, and they're going to remember you for that. If you can add in a great performance as well, you've probably got the job. I know a lot of people. I was speaking to a director recently who will go nameless, but he was casting for a really big show, and the one kid who was incredible on his first audition, he did an incredible acting job. I really, really blew them away in the audition. But the director was like, I never want to see that child ever again. He's so precocious and up himself and, you know, massively arrogant. And this kid was only like in his early teens or something. And this kid nearly didn't get the job. The director was, convinced effectively to see him again, and they did a lot of work with him on, you know, his etiquette and how he should be, you know, and actually, you know, kind of pipe down a little bit and, you know, remember you are only 12 or 13 or whatever. The kid ended up getting the job, but he almost lost out because, yes, he could do it. He was incredible. But, like, he just wasn't a good person, a happy person to be around. Didn't fill people up, didn't make them, you know, feel great and charge their batteries, and didn't leave them better than he found them. He just robbed them of their energy. So I just think everyone's going to be happier and more successful if they focus consciously on being happier. But I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. Interested. If you're watching on the replay or you're listening on the audio experience, tweet me at ActOnThisTV, at Ross A. Grant. I find it absolutely fascinating. I don't think for a second I have all the answers on this at all. That's why I read these books to you. These are not my research or my opinions a lot of the time. I'm just trying to learn more and understand it better. And it's different for everybody. Like we said last week, you know, happiness in general. You can't really define it, can you? Karen's here. All right, Karen, how are you doing? Actually, I was going to say not seen you in a bit. I have, actually. You've been on more recently. You've been on quite a few of these, so good to hear from you. So, yeah, we'll go call it a night for tonight on that. But I think it's a pretty good book. What do you reckon? If you want to buy it, I got it on Kindle for I think it's about £7 or something like that. It's available on Amazon. It's also available as I think it's a hardback book, not a paperback book. It's a little bit dearer. I think it's about a tenner or £12. But it is pretty good. But let me know. You guys on Facebook, unfortunately, I can't see your comments now because I've got to go into this different screen to end this. But still leave a comment. I'll go and check them out after the broadcast is finished. But you guys on Twitter can still speak to me. You know I'll find it somewhere. Yeah, Fanny will hunt it out somewhere and find it for free somewhere. If you do, Fanny, post it in the Facebook group so people can download the PDF or whatever it is that you'll find of it. But what does everyone else think before we go? Enjoying it? I think it's pretty good. There's been some good stuff said in that book tonight that's very, very true, and I don't think a lot of people think about it that much. Thanks, Ross. Really appreciate your time. Sleep well, everyone. Thank you, Warren. And well done on the auditions, mate. He's had 2 auditions in 2 days, Warren. And he's got a recall, so fair play, mate. Good work. Keep that up. Exactly my type of book, says Fanny. Yeah, I really like it, definitely. So that's it for tonight. Don't forget, tomorrow night, 7:30 p.m, I will be interviewing, for a live broadcast. We're going to do a live casting Q&A with Nikki Bly, top UK comedy casting director, worked with the biggest names in the business, cast some massive shows, and she's going to be here to answer all of your questions live. Anything you want to ask, how you get in front of, of Nikki, her opinion on casting, auditions, self-taping, marketing, promotion as an actor. Come and join us. You're going to need a premium membership from Acts on This to do that. It's only £10 a month. There's no lock-in. You basically, if you just want to subscribe for a month and just join, a couple of these live broadcasts, do check it out. You can cancel anytime you want. If you want to save some money, you can sign up for a year for £90. But the revenue from these premium memberships goes to charity, guys. A lot of it, that I have to obviously cover costs of running the website, but the rest of it and the profits just go to charity. Don't know who Nikki's going to be supporting with her donation. But it really is a force for good. Would love to see you there. actonthis.tv. Get a premium membership, and then you will see an article on the front page of how you can join. You have to go to the premium events page. You'll find it in the left-hand menu. If you click the top little icon in the left top-hand corner, that will splay out, and you'll see something that says live events, and you'll see free ones and premium ones. Once you've got your premium membership, click on the premium one there. It's going to take you through to where you're going to be able to watch and also type in all of your questions as well. But it's going to be a really good laugh. Cannot wait. Nikki's great, honestly. Really, really top casting director. Got a lot of time for her, and just a genuinely good soul. You know what? A good, happy soul, definitely. So she would appreciate seeing actors who are happy as well. Thank you so much. If I can do anything for you, do let me know, and I'll be back after tomorrow night. I'll be back on Monday night for some motivation and mind hacks. Enjoy what you're doing. Enjoy the rest of your night, and I'll catch you with you guys very, very soon. All right? Bye for now.